today's collectible spot, we are having a look at the Mecha Workshop Armarauders Bellerophon. A big thank you to the folks over at Mecha Workshop for providing Spot with this early press release to this mech soldier that they are going to be producing. He is slated for a March 2015 pre-order, so if you guys are impressed with this piece, as impressed as I am, the pre-orders will start in March. Along with the pre-order, along with the press release that they sent me, they also included this clear booklet here, a little clear file folder. And inside the file folder, I'll just pull out the contents here. And before actually I show you the contents, I just want to show you how cool this little folder, almost like a briefing release. Some artwork on the front and some artwork on the side there as well. But included with that, you got included a cardboard cut and fold kind of mini robot that was included there as well. The pre-order launch special, and inside the turnarounds and features to the Bellerophon, as well as the multitude of different accessories that come with them. I'll show you guys all that after we have a look at this. And as well, also got an Armarauders The Last Battalion comic book, and I really like the artwork in this. I'm a big fan of anime too, so like this kind of stuff. And on the front, Bellerophon, which actually Greek mythology, Bellerophon I believe was the son of Poseidon. Well, did you know? And some artwork on the side there of him as well. But the inside, above and beyond that, you've got the comic book, which, as Spot had already mentioned, some really great artwork to the piece. And there's some artwork on the back there as well. So putting that to the side, the Bellerophon actually came with two pieces, two main pieces. There was some assembly required, but the assembly was fairly small. It didn't take much at all for me to put them together. But you get your main mech piece, Bellerophon himself. I'll show you guys that in a second. But he also comes with this station bay, and let's have a look at that first. The base station is brightly colored in a pastel blue, and spinning around there, you can see that there's a couple of ladders on the side, bays, bay towers, and at the top there, this is one section that always comes off. This piece right here is one of the pieces that they've indicated is loose, and again, when the unit is manufactured, it's not going to be loose like that. But got a couple of ladders on the sides and some railings along the top there. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but on the top there are some control station terminals. Oh, there's the piece again. There's a couple of control station terminals where you can take the supplied driver, pilot, and he can actually even sit up there if you want. I'd be interested to see if they actually include down the road when they expand this line. I wonder if they will give us more of these little figures, because I'll show you guys that figure in a second, but he's really cool. So you have that, and these two sections here detach. And actually what we do is just detach this first. These two side sections detach from the middle section of the bay, and on its own you've got just a flight stand and display stand for the Armarauder, which is pretty neat. This section right here can adjust depending on how you want to have him positioned. I'll show you guys all that when we bring the Armarauder in. Or again, what you can do, just bring these pieces back together. There are pegs just on the undersides here, and if I flip around the main stand, there are holes. I don't know if you guys can see it, there are a couple holes there. So these pieces just easily snap into place. Take the other side, snap that also into place like that, and there you have the main bay. Now these, interestingly enough, these here this little platform here can retract. these sides can rotate out if you also want to have them displayed as well. Also too, the side towers, let me make sure my hand's not in the way, the side towers also can raise. And the only thing I would say, and again, this is, you know, this isn't the actual manufactured piece, this is still one of the prototypes, but I found like these side towers did lock. They're not doing so bad of a job now, but I had one of them that really had an issue where it locked, and I had to really kind of apply a lot of pressure to get that to lower. But again, that would be something that would be corrected when he eventually is released. Also, again, like this piece here will be fully attached. Just also so you guys can see how that works then with Bellerophon. Bring Bellerophon in here and actually just to show you guys. I'm not going to peg him into place just yet, but you can see that these fold in the front. This comes across. It's really stiff actually on this section here, but this comes across. There we go. This attaches, and you've got like a working bay station for the Bellerophon to stand. Just get his feet to stand like that. It's really neat the way that they've done that, because you can take like the little pilot and you know, he can work from the terminals, or he can be standing there waiting to load himself into the cockpit. One of the other features that I'll show you guys on him in a second. But I mean, essentially there is your base station, and it's really neat. I like it. I do like the way that they've kind of put that together. Take Bellerophon just off for a second. He's a bit loose when it comes to the knees, but again, that's something that they're going to fix as well. I'll take the little sides off here. There we go. And we'll take the other side off. There we go. I'm just going to put those to the side. I want to show you guys how the main station display stand works. That back into place. So you'll see on the top there, bring the camera in, you'll see on the top there's a clip right there. You see that clip? If you take the Bellerophon, and then right on the underside of him there is a little canal, there's a little peg point there. You can take that, and that connects to the top of this stand, and you can adjust it any which way that you want, but essentially this will peg into place, and you can display him via that peg connecting to the underside of the mech. That connector point as well for the display stand is very secure. Once you get it attached to the underside of the Armarauder, it doesn't go anywhere, so you don't have to worry about that at all. To show you what I mean about the displaying options for Bellerophon, you can really see how that display stand serves as a great way to display the piece. You can have him kind of floating, you can kind of have him standing in a real dynamic pose. There's really a lot of options there. The only thing, again, like this little connector piece will be fully attached to the display stand, so this being a loose piece now, again, it's only going to be like this because this is an early sample release. Now as well, this display stand is adjustable, so this section right here, we'll bring the camera in, bring the camera down a little bit there, Spot, there you go. This section right here can adjust. It can adjust from the furthest setting, or what you can also do too is bring it as far down as you want. It drops down by 5 notches, so depending on how you want to have it displayed, you can kind of go from, you know, the very highest to the lowest setting. But it's a great way to really display the piece. You know, if you don't want to have them just standing as is. When you start really looking at the missiles and the other things I'll be showing you guys in a second on him, probably having him standing in flight mode, or, you know, in a dynamic display is probably the best way that I'm really going to end up having him showcased. So before we touch base more on the Armarauder, I want to also show you guys first and foremost the pilot that comes with this piece. As cool as this guy is, the pilot really, for as small as he is very impressive. I think what impresses me the most is probably the articulation on the piece. Now, I mean, he really rivals other pieces, some pieces even larger than him for the amount of articulation that he has. He has the ball joint in the head, which is a little harder to kind of get in there, but he also has ball hinge joints in the shoulders. He has like a little ball hinge joint in the elbow, a little swivel in the hands. I mean, just to kind of gauge, there's my thumb, just to kind of give you an idea of how small this guy actually is. He's got a ball joint in his torso, the little upper torso section there. Hinges in the legs. To hinge them out, you actually have to rotate the legs out. You have to swivel them. And then he also has a swivel and rotation in the knee area there. But I mean, like, that's a small figure, and it's really impressive for how small he is, how much you can actually do with him. He has these top cannons, which sometimes do pop off. They actually sit just on ball joints. And if you spin around the back of the figure, he's got this backpack, and just unpeg. There's one of the cannons gone there. Just unpeg the cannon here and replace. You can see that the shoulder cannons just sit on ball joints themselves, and then they just peg into the tops of the shoulders there just very easily. But just put that down for a second. The little backpack that he comes with, looking at it, it does look like it consists of two pieces. You can take it and separate these two pieces out, instantly giving him a pair of firearms. And looking at the pilot again, it's upon closer inspection you see that he has holes in his hands. You can take the guns here and peg them just into his very small hands. And he's got instant firepower. That is pretty impressive. Again, for how small he is, that is a pretty impressive feat, to say the least. Now, this one doesn't actually have a peg. He has the larger peg, but I don't think it actually fits in his hand. But you can just kind of peg onto his arm, I guess. Just like that. Oh, that doesn't... Oops, that didn't stay on there. I suppose what you could ultimately just do with the other cannon there is just peg it back into his back. Just like that. So you have there's your pilot. Painted very well for how small he is too. I gotta say that as well. Very impressive looking little figure. He also comes with a display stand. And the display stand, let's bring the camera back a little bit. There we go. The display stand features Armarauders on the top there. And it comes with a hinge neck. Hinges down below in the single hinge. And these pieces will again come slightly loose from one another. This piece as well. But it's hinged at the bottom, it's hinged in the middle section there, and then it rotates and hinges at the top. And then on top of that, he's got these little clips here, which do like to unpeg here, but they do close shut. And again, this is just an early sample of this guy, so a lot of these little issues such as this will be corrected. But you can take your little pilot here and very carefully you can clip the waist clip just around his waist, just like that. And you can display the pilot in flight mode, do a little more dynamic of a pose than what Spot's doing right now, but you see that it's pretty cool. I mean, that's a small figure, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I mean, that's a considerably small figure for the level of detail and articulation that you get in that piece. Now, when it comes to the suit is extremely impressive. It's got some good weight to it, too. Like, it doesn't feel at all like a cheap piece. Like, there's a lot of die-cast areas to the suit, like the lower torso section here. He's got some die-cast in the feet section there as well. Like he's got a good bit of weight to him. Superposable as well. And some of the features that come with the Bellerophon is that he comes with these little circular blades. The blades do spin. And I also might add extremely sharp, especially these sides here. So be careful when you get him. These little side pieces can prick. You can take them though, and any one of them can be removed if you only want to have one or two of them. As well, what I do like about the Bellerophon is that he has multiple peg points that you can have things, have things such as his weapons. So for example, if we just move the shoulder pad area here, you'll notice that there's two rectangular peg points on the sides there that you can take the blade here and clip that into either his arm or further up onto his bicep. Just clip that into place like that. It still spins, although this little shoulder area will obstruct some of the movement. What you can also do too is you can take, let's get him to stand properly here. Again, that's one of the only issues I have with the early piece here, is that his knees are a little loose. It's probably because too, like, a lot of his weight is really from like the thigh area up. The thigh is die cast, so like a lot of the weight sits higher up than the knees. So like the knees are a little bit looser to get him to stand here. There we go. You can also take this and you can detach this. It's not the easiest though, but you can detach these, the whole ring, and you can actually get him to hold this as well. And as you see, Spot just pricked himself. But you have two of them. You had two little blades that you can have on the sides. You could, I guess, really have two on one arm if you wanted to as well. But what I like about the piece is that there's a lot of mixing and matching you can do with the piece. Like, there's a lot of things you can remove and a lot of things you can add in other areas. Case in point, the cannons here, not only are they ball jointed, and you can pose and rotate them, you can also kind of tilt them on the side too. Well, you can also take these off, and it has the exact same peg as the tri-star blade that he has too. So you can take that and just rotate his shoulder pad. These can also peg into his arm like that. Oops, let's get it properly pegged into place here. These fit into the arms as well. So if you want to have them pegged there, you can do that like that, which also is a great look to have them displayed. Also too, I think you can peg them into the legs. Same idea, these legs sections will just pop off, and you can see it still uses the exact same rectangular peg point. So, you know, you can have the cannons, which sometimes aren't the easiest to remove from their supplied pegs. Take the cannon. Oh, it's so stiff. There we go. And that can peg back into the top here. And you can take the side leg pieces, and same way, you just peg those into his arms, or they can peg up to the top there, depending on how you want to customize your Armarauder. Like I kind of like the extra armor pieces on his arms as opposed to down on his legs. I mean, you can really mix and match and do anything that you want to the pieces to customize them. And as they expand the line, they're going to be giving us extra pieces too that you can add on to these guys. He has a couple of adjustable thrusters on the back. Those rotate. These little sections rotate as well. And like all the things that move on it move, and then have things on it that move. So like the back thrusters also have ball joints in the actual thruster rockets here. Those can adjust, and then these can also rotate as well. When it goes through the paint of the Bellerophon here, the paint is almost like, it's not quite white. I'm going to say this, and it's probably not going to make any sense, but it kind of looks like an off purpley white. You can kind of see it when the light is hitting in certain ways. It's not a stark white, which I think this color suits it better than if it was just straight out white. Straight out white I think would be a little too clean of a color. That again, it's this slightly off white color. Some of the other accessories that come with Bellerophon here are these additional guns, and these guns are pretty considerably large. I mean, you scale them to roughly about the arms. They're the same length as the arm itself. And these pieces can detach. Not really sure why. I mean, maybe eventually we might get extra end pieces that will attach to the guns and give us like variations of the guns themselves. These also unpeg down below, and he has like similar things on the sides of his legs, and these things do detach, but like all of the pieces, a little bit, like I said, a little bit stiffer to remove, but these pieces unpeg. So I guess they are like magazine clips. So as he's in battle and he needs to refill his ammo, he would just be removing it from his leg and replacing it with the magazine clip that's currently on his guns. So you get two of them, and there's some details there as maintenance and inspection. 01 Nox, just singular color. It's kind of like almost like a brownish gunmetal color, which actually is the exact same color as the clips, same colors also as the top cannons. Of course, he can also hold his gun, and you'll see that there's a little clip right on the handle, and on his hand there's a notch right there. You want to take the gun and just line it up to the hand. This just pegs in just like that, and then once it's pegged into place, you can take the fingers and adjust them around the handles of the guns, which really ultimately gives me the look that I'm looking for when I want to have this guy displayed. Probably double guns in hands. To certainly say that this guy is armored up is an understatement. And I think the size of the guns is really a great way to present the piece. One of the other accessories that comes with the Bellerophon is this clear dome. What you can do is go around to his head area here, and you can take this dome right off. I prefer the white dome to kind of go with the coloring of the rest of his suit, but you can take this off. Just detaches. There's a little clip right there, a little clear clip, and it shows the inner workings of his head. Then you can take the dome and replace that out, give me a look like that. Again, I prefer probably that, the more whiter dome versus the clear dome, but you can swap it out there. One of the coolest features by far, though, is his cockpit. And for that, you want to take the torso section here, and it kind of gives you a guideline to where your fingers can go, up at the top, at the bottom with your thumb. And you want to take this and you want to pull it out this way, and pulling it out clears it really by maybe about an inch or so. And funny enough, even the smallest details, you have step here, which I think is a nice touch. But from there, this section opens up, and you've got a pretty cool looking cockpit area that you can put your driver inside. To accomplish this, I've taken already the shoulder cannons off his backpack. I've also removed the back gun there as well. And I might actually go as far as to take his head off completely and remove this, the whole harness section that he's got there, and just kind of give him bare bones. And then from there, just take the pilot, and you want to make sure his arms are kind of forward, because that will help him sit further back in the seat. Just kind of adjust the legs, and you have something that looks like that. And then from there, closing and pushing the cockpit back in is very easy, and pilot is in there. And again, you just pull it out again and reach from the top. And I like how it opens. It opens like you would imagine a cockpit to open. So there you have the pilot inside. A couple of other neat features on the mech here, and we're just going to take the cannons and just kind of move them out of the way. The front sections here open up like that. Pardon my hands. And these open up, and you've got some missile launchers, some rocket launchers. You can also take the front section here. This hinges forward and hinges forward over here, and then these also open up to give you some extra firepower. So he's packing heat. Between the large guns that he's already carrying or would be holding, and then the missiles, he's definitely ready for battle. Now when it comes to his articulation, the Bellerophon is actually pretty articulated. He does have a ball joint in the head, which a little harder to get to depending on if he's got the front cannons in the way here. But he does have a ball joint in the head, also hinges forward and back. These little side shoulder areas here are ball jointed. As you can see, these come off. Now one thing that's interesting is the underside of the shoulder pads here. I say shoulder pads, the shoulder armor plates. There's like a little hole area here. Maybe, I don't know what this will eventually connect to. I don't see a section on him that you could change these out and, you know, have them facing a different way. But it almost feels like it should be a shield or like something should be connecting to the bottom of it. But they just sit on a ball joint. And just peg that into place like that. So above and beyond these rotating on the ball joint, there's also a hinge point right at the back here that you can fold these right out. You might find a couple of times too when you fold these out, these do like to pop out of their ball joints, but you can completely fold them out of the way. The cannons we've already looked at, they're on ball joints. This one cannon is a little stiffer. I can't seem to move it as much as this one here, but it has quite a bit of movement there. Arms, very impressive. A ball joint in the arm section here, but then there's a hinge joint here, a secondary ball hinge joint. And then this section here also swivels. I guess if you want to swivel them further out before he's deploying the missiles, you could probably do that as well. The arms are on a double bend in the elbow section. There's a hinge here, and then there's a hinge in his forearm. He does have a swivel and very forgiving rotation in the wrists. And if you hadn't already saw, he does have individual hinges in the fingers. He's got 2 knuckle bends in the thumb, and then he's got, I guess, 3 bends really in the fingers, but 2 knuckles, 3 bends in each of the individual fingers. So that's really impressive. His ball joint also has quite a bit of movement. There's a hinge, a very large hinge in the torso area here, but then he also swivels at the thigh. Now, we looked at the thrusters already on the back, but the thrusters also have rotations. The back thrusters, the higher thrusters, I suppose, have hinges as well. And then these are individually ball jointed, just like that. The legs do swivel forward and swivel back. Sometimes you might find that when you're moving it, you accidentally move these thrusters in the way of it. But these thrusters do hinge forward and hinge back. They also swivel out like that, and also hinge at the thigh. And can you even see that? It says maintenance and inspection also on the inside there. I mean, there's all these like little stickers and markings on the piece that you don't really start seeing until you start moving more of him. Now, the only problem I have is like the legs. The legs are really loose. But keeping in mind, this is also an early production piece, so the final piece will likely have additional tightness kind of in the knee area. You can see it's a little bit loose there. But there's a ratcheted double bend at the knee, and then down below, he's got a hinge and rotation in the foot. And like the foot is all die-cast metal, so it's a big, heavy boot. So, I mean, between really all the articulation you get in this guy, you can really do a lot of fantastic poses. Pre-orders for the Mecha Workshop Armarauders Bellerophon are again slated for roughly around March of 2015. So if you guys certainly are a fan of mechs, I mean, a very impressive looking piece. Definitely stay tuned and check out Mecha Workshop for when the official pre-order drops. And you can add this guy to your collection. Again, a big thank you to the folks over at Mecha Workshop for sending this guy my way. Extremely impressed with how he turned out. Today's collectible spot, we're having a look at the Mecha Workshop Armarauders Bellerophon. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more videos heading your way. Thanks for watching, as you always do. I'll see you next time.